What I've Learned from Plants, an essay by Matt Ruby. That's me. So what have you learned from doing ayahuasca, people sometimes ask me. The first answer I always give, it gave me a profound respect for plant intelligence. I've been walking around all my life without realizing just how much plants run the world and how much they have to teach us, too. Plants are so omnipresent in our lives, we've stopped even clocking it most of the time. Vegetables, they're plants we can eat. The meat and fish we consume, they all ate plants too. Trees burn to give us fire. The clothes we're wearing are made of plants, and they're that color because of plant dye. Look around and you start seeing plants, well, everywhere. They purify the water we drink. The medicine that heals us comes from plants. Aspirin, painkillers, and fever reducers all come from tree bark. And thank plants for any buzz you've ever gotten from weed, beer, wine, coffee, tea, or cigarettes. The tires we drive on, made from plants. Also the walls, doors, floors of our homes, the beds we sleep in and the chairs we sit in, desks, cardboard, boats, guitars, and violins. Tiny things too, like balloons, rubber bands, erasers, pencils, gum, and toothpicks. In the bathroom, you've got soap, shampoo, toothpaste, perfume. In the kitchen, olive oil, mustard, sugar, nuts. Oh, man, it's overwhelming. Let's take a deep breath. And remember that oxygen is also produced by plants. Carbon dioxide, plants are out here getting rid of it like they're nature's crime fighters. And how about photosynthesis? Plants eat light. They're like the OG solar panels, capturing the energy of the sun and storing it for later. And they don't even require a tax break to get it done. Okay, so plants rule everything around us. Just what can we learn from that? Well, for one thing, humility. Plants don't need the constant ego stroking we do. They don't try to win awards or have praise heaped upon them. They just move toward the sun, say nothing, and teach us with their actions. Walk softly and carry a big leaf, or a small leaf, or a pine needle. Really, whatever works. Plants are subtle professors. Study trees and you can't help but see the power of community, how we can all grow taller if we work together. They demonstrate the importance of roots, how we flourish if we stay connected to each other, our ancestors, and the past. Mindlessly, they somehow demonstrate mindful behavior, staying present in the moment, slowly and consistently moving toward the light. And they do it all with actions instead of words. One of the most glorious things about plants, they shut the hell up. Humans are all do as I say, not as I do. But plants are all do as I do, not as I say, because I say nothing. Even when they manipulate, plants do it gently. Imagine being a bee who's convinced you've really pulled one over on flowers. You buzz around, get all that sweet nectar, and think, these flowers are a bunch of suckers. You go to your bee grave never realizing the truth. The flowers were using you all along to do their bidding. You've been spreading their pollen. You're an air force transporting their precious cargo, moving their genetic material from one plant to another. Well, wait a minute. Maybe the plants are just using us, too. Yuval Noah Harari in Sapiens says we were actually manipulated by a handful of plant species, including wheat, rice, and potatoes during the agricultural revolution. He wrote, "These plants domesticated Homo sapiens, rather than vice versa." Man, so clever. The perfect invasion? It's one where the conquered don't even realize they've been conquered. I've gone hiking a lot in the Redwood National Forest in Northern California, home to the tallest trees in the world. One of the fascinating things about these trees is how narrow they are. Form a circle with both hands and you've pretty much got the circumference. So how on earth are these slim trees the tallest ones in existence? It's because the entire root system of the forest is connected. They form an underground network that's constantly helping each other out. Above the surface, they seem like individual trees. But underneath the soil, they operate as a unit. When one tree falls, new ones sprout directly from it. They even communicate with each other under the soil. Teamwork makes the green work. Plants operate at a pace that humans find tedious. See, we tend to dismiss anything that doesn't move at the speed of humanity. But that means we often miss out on subtle, slow-motion solutions. German forester Peter Wolben wrote this about the slow tempo of the forest. Trees live their lives in the really slow lane, even when they are in danger. But this slow tempo doesn't mean that a tree is not on top of what is happening in different parts of its structure. If the roots find themselves in trouble, this information is broadcast throughout the tree, which can trigger the leaves to release scent compounds specifically formulated for the task at hand. On my plant journeys, I've come to realize the challenge is how to take these realizations and apply them to humanity. Here's Ram Dass talking about turning people into trees. When you go out into the woods and you look at trees, you see all these different trees, and some of them are bent, and some of them are straight, and some of them are evergreens, and some of them are whatever. And you look at the tree and you allow it. You see why it is the way it is. You sort of understand that it didn't get enough light, and so it turned that way. And you don't get all emotional about it, you just allow it. You appreciate the tree. The minute you get near humans, you lose all that. And you're constantly saying, you are to this, or I'm to this. The judgment mind comes in. And so I practice turning people into trees, which means appreciating them just the way they are. Back to Wolben, he discusses how trees inherently know something humans often fail to grasp: when to say enough. The average tree grows its branches out until it encounters the branch tips of a neighboring tree of the same height. It doesn't grow any wider because the air and better light in the space are already taken. A pair of true friends is careful right from the outset not to grow overly thick branches in each other's direction. As humans, we tend to think intellect is about ideas and inventions, but plants have a different kind of smarts, the sort that's buried in one's DNA. They possess centuries of wisdom that doesn't need to be written down in a book. And notice how they do it all without ego. They never ask to be worshipped or praised. They let us taste, climb, and trample them. They have an attitude of abundance. They always seem to be saying, we'll make more. Well, until humans started destroying forests and jungles. That's been getting worse lately, too. Maybe that's why there's such a boom in mushrooms, weed, and ayahuasca going on these days. Maybe it's the plants reaching out to us. Maybe it's their last gasp attempt to shake us by the lapels and go, yo, what the hell are you morons doing? We give you everything, and this is how you treat us? The problem? Even when they scream, it sounds like a whisper. Anyway, I'm going to go out and touch grass. And now it's time for some quickies. Aliens are angels for bros. People say all you really need is the respect of your peers, and I'm here to tell you that's worth less than you think. Houston is somehow a place where porn and weed are illegal, yet everyone's carrying a gun and is on cocaine. Remember how much fun we all made of bloggers? Now that we've seen the alternative, I kind of feel like we should take that back. You can subscribe to or follow this show just about anywhere you listen to podcasts. If you have a moment, please rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, or anywhere else that allows you to do that. And when I say that, I mean, like, leave it a good review. I feel like that's obvious, but if you're just going to leave it a bad review, you don't have to. Anyway, it helps others find the show, which I really appreciate. If you want to reach out to me directly, you can email me at mattruby@hey.com. That's mattruby@hey.com. And if you like this podcast, you should subscribe to the Rubes Letter, where what you just heard first appeared. You can find that at mattrubycomedy.com/subscribe. And while you're at mattrubycomedy.com, you can also find links to my Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok, where I post clips of my stand-up and other stuff too. Thanks so much for listening. I appreciate it.
This podcast is produced by Stereoactive Media.